Live. What's up, everybody?
Aaron, we're not live.
We're recording. Oh my goodness. What's up, everybody? It's Aaron and Ray back again with another episode of Franchise Tagged Fantasy Football Podcast. Ray tricked me right there because beforehand I accidentally fat fingered the live button instead of the record button. So then we almost went live, but then we weren't recording because the intro was on fire. And now Ray's like, you big dumb idiot.
Yeah,
I should just shut up and learn how to push buttons.
We're here. We're here.
we are here. Anyways, Ray, how was your weekend?
Oh, just another disappointing weekend from Jared Goff.
That's disappointed. I had the buns of steel, the courage to start Geno Smith over Matt Stafford, and it's a good pick. It was a good pickup.
I think Geno right now going forward, solid start until he plays San Francisco.
And then I have San Francisco's D, and then I'm probably going to just stream a different quarterback at that point in time.
Do that.
So, or I could play like I did Matt Stafford against San Francisco's defense, where they get a pick six. He only loses a couple points, but I still end up easing out the week and getting a win because I don't know how it worked out. Typically, it doesn't, but it does.
So I want to take a little victory lap on the.
Don't lie. Don't yell at me.
I want to go and take a victory lap on the Carson Wentz call. I want you guys to know, but I said it to Aaron right before we started. He is a very viable streaming candidate against poor pass rushes or mediocre pass rushes. Exhibit A this week. He was fine. He was okay. Did he lose that game? Yup. It doesn't matter. Who cares about that? You're just worried about the points, right? That's all you care about.
Unless you're a Commander stand, the real NFL and Carson Wentz doesn't matter.
Those don't exist. Those aren't real.
They do, but apparently they're only on the East Coast. So
I don't think I have ever met a Redskins football team, Manders. I've never met one fan.
I think I've met one in my entire life.
I didn't know a Bills fan for a long time too.
That's a fair point. You know what's funny? Well, that we're on this train. I also didn't know a Kansas City Chiefs fan until they got Patrick Mahomes and got good. They might have been out there.
I knew a couple.
They weren't as loud and vocal as they are now. So let's be humble, guys.
I also want to just say, Jared Goff. A little statistic that I saw on a meme earlier today was in 25 years, that 25 full years, a quarterback that was a part of the number one passing offense in the NFL had been shut out one time. I didn't even get that far because I was so mad that I wanted to spike my phone. But it wouldn't have mattered. Royce would have killed me anyway. It didn't even matter. It didn't even matter. Just playing against the high heat.
Let's take a look at Royce's roster.
We don't have to do all that. You don't even have to bring up my game. It was awful. It was terrible. Yeah. Not a great week. Yeah. 2 weeks in a row.
If you guys can see my face, and that's with Dalvin Cook hanging 25 in our league format.
Yep. Everybody else stinkers across the board. I mean, when AJ Dillon only gets 6 carries in a week, I don't think I'm going to be doing very well. By the way, that offense has to get righted. It has to. But you're going to hear one of my starts for this week. One of my
the Packers offense has to get righted?
Yeah, it needs to get righted. And the only way they're going to do that is by running the ball.
There is now discourse in the Packers locker room.
Sure. Who cares? Just fix it.
That's what I'm saying. There is concern inside of the Packers locker room now because Jair says, I'm not concerned right now, but if we lose next week to a shitty team like the Jets and we can't put up points on offense, then yes, there's a reason to be concerned. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon both saying, hey, I'd put money on it that if you gave us either one of us a touch, 2 chances in 2 yards to get a touchdown, that's going to happen. And then Aaron Rodgers trotting out because you could see on the play, him and LaFleur talking before the play, and LaFleur was like questioning him, like, are you sure you want to do that close? You could literally see that close come out of Matt LaFleur's mouth. And he was like, oh, and then they passed the ball.
Twice.
3rd and 2. Technically 3 times.
I don't know. Just really frustrating.
Technically 3 times. The first down, they ran it. Second down, threw it. Third down, threw it. Fourth down, threw it.
Are the Giants for real?
Are the Jags for real?
Are the Giants for real?
Giants. Oh,
Are they?
Dayball might have turned that team around. They have no outside of Saquon. They have no offensive weapons that anybody wants, and they beat the Packers, who before the season started were supposed to be this great defense. Oh, they're a great defense. They're going to be a great defense. They're going to be a top 5 defense. They're going to be a top 5 defense. Thanks, Joe Barry. You fucking suck.
Oh, I'm willing to start a lot of pieces now against the Packers, but going forward from that,
I'm willing to start a lot of pieces against the Packers, and not willing to start a lot of Packers pieces.
Nope, I'm going to adjust my rankings as of this second. Aaron, now that my hopes are dashed, my dreams are crushed, and I'm feeling a little down. Let's talk about the waivers this week.
Not good. Spend all of your fab on not just kidding, not all of your fab, but pick up Kenneth Walker.
How much do you feel like spending? Asking for a friend.
Stop it, because I know that we're competing against each other, but I'm spending like 35%. I drafted him. I didn't have roster room to keep him on my roster.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to drop him and pick up other players. I think it was the David Montgomery week 2 weeks ago when he got injured, picked up Khalil Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Could not keep him on my roster. Strictly due to construction. I need wins now. He's not doing anything. So now 2-3 weeks later,
of course,
I'm biting the dang bullet, and I'm probably going to spend 35 to 45% of my fab.
I'm willing to spend 50.
So, I mean, starting running backs are hard to come by, and there's literally no one behind. DJ Dallas is behind him in Seattle. Get out of my face.
I don't care about DJ Dallas. And look,
and you saw the explosiveness and speed on the 69-yard touchdown run.
You've seen it twice now. 2 times he's taken one to the house where it's like, yeah, he's trotting along, getting those 2-yard gains, 3-yard gains, and then bam, here's a big gain for a touchdown. 50% of my fab.
I would if that's how you feel, and the fact that Seattle's offense isn't dead in the water like we thought, and they are actually good under Geno, gives him that much more value.
Maybe not good. I don't want to say they're good. I don't want to do that yet. But I didn't say
they're not. They're just not dead in the water. They're not
awful. I thought it was going to be like the worst team that's ever existed. I don't know, man. 50%.
If you have a lot of fab, like how much fab, for example, how much fab do you have in our league? Because I only have
68.
Okay, so you have more fab than I do. Let's look here. You have.
Yeah, I have $68. And
you have $65.
Oh, okay. Well, even less than that. Huh?
Yeah, I have 86. So you're still willing. You're still willing to go more than me. So 50% for Ray, for example, would be 32.5. You can't do half, so 33.
I would be willing to go all the way up to 40.
Okay, so 40 for Ray. You're pushing it there for me. I think probably
for my roster, I need a running back too right now.
I think 31 would probably be my limit because I don't need a running back too. I have Kamara, Damian Pierce, Melvin Gordon, David Montgomery. Like somehow I've lucked into at least 4 running backs right there. So we'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. So for
good news is bad news is waivers don't clear before this happens to come out. So
yeah.
Call me selfish, but I want to go to daily waivers. That way we can get used to this stuff. So
that's what I
put it in today. We could have put it in today for Tuesday, so we got a little bit of an advantage where everyone else gets an advantage to listen to us. But anyways, go ahead.
Your quarterbacks this week. Obviously, what Aaron was saying, if Geno's still out there, he's a fine start, except for when he plays against San Francisco.
Agreed.
No, I don't think anybody's a good start against San Francisco right now. That defense looks good.
Yeah.
Really good. Stupid good. Carson Wentz this week. Great start against Chicago. Jared Goff is not a start because he's on a bye. So your Detroit Lions, your Tennessee Titans, who else is on a bye? Pay attention to that. This is why these waivers are going to be a little more important because I think that there's a good majority of people that are now maybe reliant on Jared Goff.
We're going to week 6, right?
Yeah, week 6. There's a good amount of people that are reliant on Jared Goff. And if you're going to need to have a spot start, I think Geno's fine. I think Carson Wentz is fine. Right now, Derek Carr doesn't look like that guy. And I don't want to risk my fantasy week on Derek Carr's production. I don't want to.
4 bye weeks. You have Lions, Texans, Raiders, Titans.
Ooh. Yeah, that team in Eric's league, my God. got a lot of bye weeks that I have to worry about. Another loss there. I got like 6 bye weeks.
So crappy part is I beat Ray in that league this week, and then I'm going to end up losing to Patrick Mahomes on a Monday night, even though it looked like it was very promising beforehand. I needed Devontae Adams to outscore Patrick Mahomes and Daniel Carlson by like 17 total points. He had to get more. He had to get 17 more than both of them combined. Looking like it's not going to happen. But anyways, go ahead.
So outside of that, I don't have any real receiving waivers that I'd like to go through. No one stood out to me that I'd like to go grab. If George Pickett's is still out there, probably try and obtain him for probably at this point 20% of your fab. Outside of that, because he looks too involved. Outside of that, I don't have anything else for receivers.
I mean,
It's a
Chris
pretty rough
Olave's
week for you.
hurt, so monitor that. If Jarvis Landry comes back off of his injury, it's not a very good waiver wire though. But
Yeah, I don't want to do
the
that.
number 2, look at Marquez Callaway for a spot start in deeper leagues if Chris Olave is out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to give people kind of some ideas.
I thought Khalil Shakir this last week was a good start, but I think obviously McKenzie's going to be back, so Khalil Shakir is back to nothing until McKenzie gets hurt again. So
agreed. Against Green Bay, for example, if you're looking for a deep roster, look, you could go Corey Davis if he's still out on waivers. I'm sure he probably is. He looks to be like Zach Wilson's 1A.
It's unfortunate.
Garrett Wilson, he's still involved. Elijah Mitchell seems to be just dead. But yeah, wide receiver is really not a lot, honestly. You're waiting for a big breakout or an offense to somehow find a groove in the middle of the year, which we haven't seen yet. So
yeah, check to see on your waivers if DeAndre Hopkins has been dropped. Might be the time to go pick him up.
Could be
Because
could be. He's got 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, he's only got 2 more weeks. And what are you gonna hold him for 2 weeks and you're fine? And you have a bona fide receiver 1, hopefully, coming back to that offense. I don't know
You're waiting to see what the heck happens in Arizona. I mean, to be fair, Hollywood's been getting 12 targets a game.
That'll go significantly down.
Yeah, if you've got Hollywood, trade him now.
If you can. I don't know, like, because as soon as
trade him to the dude who's like me, who on Sundays decides he wants to go hunt instead of watch football. So I did kill a deer though. So
I need you to watch football, Aaron.
I'm sorry, Ray. I had other things to do.
I need you to watch football.
Listen, I harvested the first deer of the season, so there's not as much pressure now because now I have meat. So
you swear like they don't have grocery stores around you.
Good. Dude, I have like 80 pounds of meat now that I don't have to pay for.
Aaron, that's not a problem that I have here in Southern California.
Well, I just go to the store. Listen, it's not a problem in Oklahoma either. There's meat in the store, but
for tight end waivers, I think that Hayden Hurst is probably on the radar now. He's had back-to-back weeks that he has looked involved. He's gotten the end zone. He was actually drafted before Mark Andrews by the Ravens. Did you know that?
I did, yes. And by the way, your boy Juju just made a spectacular catch inside to get the Chiefs down to like the 12-yard line.
Juju's a real deal.
Excuse me, the 6-yard line. I would like to bring up, though, when we were talking about start sits, I brought up Hayden Hurst for that game, and you told me basically to go to hell.
Then I said, hey, tight end sucks, start him.
That is fair, but I just want to say, you heard it here first.
Look, tight ends suck. For defenses, I would like to point out that you probably could get away with starting the Jets DFS, the Jets defense against the Packers offense right now. And that sounds disgusting, I know, but there is not one part of that offense that
as
I believe
Packers fans
and I bet I'm right.
Probably are.
I bet I am.
I think we're about to go through. We've had 20 years of good quarterbacks, over 20 years of good quarterbacks. 25 years of good quarterbacks, basically. We're running into the spot now where we're about to end up being like the Patriots with Brady, essentially, right? We might draft one. That's okay. Jordan Love might be okay, but we're not going to be how we were, and then we're gonna have to hear Minnesota and Chicago fans chirp all that crap every time we lose.
I don't know. Well, outside of that, there isn't a whole lot of other defensive streams that I'd like to even. Maybe the Commanders this week against Chicago. I think that's a fine start. The Bengals would be one that I'd be looking for. Outside of that, though, if your waiver is as dry as ours is right now, there's not a lot to look at in terms of what the defensive starts you can get.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah. So you want to go over the notes real fast, then we can.
Let's hit a break really quick, and then we will. Hold on, let me look. Let me make sure. Kenneth Walker. Oh, Michael Carter. I did want to talk about Michael Carter. I would, if he's in your league, pick up and bench Michael Carter because it's going to be a Melvin Gordon or Kenneth Walker thing where if Breece Hall happens to be out a couple weeks, you have a spot start there. And he is still viable in flex weeks if another one of your other running backs happen to be on bye because we are about to hit bye weeks. Gus Edwards is going to come off he is off of the PUP and is going to be activated pretty soon. Please pay attention to that. How do you feel, Ray, about people rostering DJ Dallas?
I don't like it. I don't like it. No. I think it's going to be Ken Walker's job to lose. He's looked explosive when given the opportunity.
I agree. Alec Pierce.
I thought about bringing his name up.
Target leader for Indiana.
I thought about bringing his name up, but then
Indianapolis.
I rethought about, I don't know, looking at something else because I don't want to be tied to Matt Ryan. I don't want to.
Is it like a Russell Wilson thing for you?
Oh my God! Unless you're Colton Sutton, but they don't have Colton Sutton, so
it's fair. That is fair. I think those are really pretty much the only few names that I wanted to bring up that are kind of like on the fence. That's about it though. So let's hit a quick break. Oh, Taysom Hill. Obviously, we have to talk about Taysom Hill. Are you going to roster Taysom Hill?
No.
Should anybody roster Taysom Hill?
You know what? If you don't have a tight end, you're trying to stream tight ends, why the hell not?
Bro, 3 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown in the tight end spot.
Yeah, why the hell not? Especially if Jameis is out, he's going to be involved. As long as Jameis isn't playing.
I said this in our group chat. Taysom Hill is everything that we want Alvin Kamara to be. Alvin Kamara didn't have a bad game. He had 184 yards of total offense. You know how many touchdowns he had? 0.
Alvin Kamara was fine this week. He was fine.
Right? But you get a rushing touchdown at the 8-yard line, and you get a rushing touchdown at the 9-yard line, and you get a 59-yard rushing touchdown for Taysom Hill?
Mm-hmm.
That if that was Kamara, he's the Christmas of 2019?
I don't know why you got to keep bringing that up. Like,
it's a 60-point. That's a 60-point fantasy game, dude.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's like a 50-point fantasy game, like
in our league.
So is Taysom Hill eating into Alvin Kamara, or is it just because they don't trust Alvin Kamara? Do they need a break? What are your thoughts?
I think that it's just because the offense is going through reeling situations, but you're paying Taysom too much to not play him. He's got to be rostered, I guess. If you're looking for tight ends, got to be rostered.
Okay. Is it just because of the gadget usage?
Yeah, but his 2 rushes, I understand that they're not receptions. Receptions were worth more, but his rushes can be taken to the house, and he's used on the goal line. And if you can get a tight end that you're on the 2-yard line and is basically guaranteed a wildcat touchdown instead of having to catch a reception on the 2-yard line for a touchdown, I would take it. Yeah.
All right. Let's hit a quick break.
Hey, everyone. This show is brought to you by Driffles Jerky. Are you like us and love beef jerky, but hate paying those high prices for subpar meat? Well, at drifflesjerky.com, they have the money meat.
You said the money meat?
That's right. The money meat. Great tasting beef jerky made from top quality cuts of beef at great prices. Use promo code franchise tag to get yourself 10% off on your order today.
That's DRIFFILLS jerky.com. All right, everybody. We are back. It's a good break, Ray. How was it?
We're still watching the game live right now as we speak.
I know we took a little bit longer of a break for behind the scenes because it only looks like about 29 seconds for the ad read for you guys, but for us it's a little bit longer. We're talking about some stuff.
Anyways,
Josh Jacobs appears to be the winning formula apparently. So Josh and Josh got on the same page eventually.
So ridiculous.
I'm so glad a trade happened to go through before this game started that now can't be reversed because it's been accepted by both people already and it will process on Tuesday.
That's tough because if that trade went through, oh, it's already going to go through. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have made that one. No, and it's funny because like if I rostered Josh Jacobs, which I had in the last 2 seasons, he would have been hurt about 400 times already because that's what I've dealt with. And it's crazy because he's not been hurt this year.
What about Michael Thomas?
If I let him go, he'd go back to being the receiver 1.
I'm sorry.
But let him go.
I told you, I'll trade you straight up for him. Pick someone on my roster.
No,
I'll hold him for you in my IR spot, and then we can trade back. Okay.
The thing is that he doesn't get to go in the IR because they don't tell you he's out until right before the week's over.
Yeah, that is one thing. Sleeper, I have an issue with you, Sleeper. Someone is ruled out 5 minutes before the game starts, right? You can put them in there, but you can't switch IR players out. Also, by the way, Eric, I don't like you either because in our league with Eric, rosters are moved after player starts. So I had a waiver wire request to pick someone up that I had previously dropped to pick another person up. Naeem Hines had already started and played his game, and he's locked on my roster until Tuesday. I don't want that trash can. I just picked him up so my opponent couldn't play him against me. But that was a bad call. So anyways.
Let's jump right into this. Let's do it.
All right. So Indianapolis, Denver. First up, Thursday night. Did we already talk about this one?
Hold on down.
We already talk about this one.
We kind of did, but at this point, Russ, cut him. Matt Ryan, he cannot even support a receiver 1, and trade Pittman while you can. I don't know if you're going to get the return that you need. That's all that I had from this game.
You're telling me to trade? I'll trade you Pittman for Michael Thomas.
I don't. Maybe I want to do that. I don't know. Maybe I want to do that.
Maybe Pittman, Michael Thomas, and some pick swaps. Let's talk about it after the show.
What is this?
Let's talk about this after the show.
Hesitated.
You hesitated, so
I got to think about it. All right, so let's talk about the Packers-Giants game real fast.
I don't want to.
You got another thing for the Denver-Indianapolis game?
Nope, I just don't want to talk about the Giants-Packers game.
Oh, well, I'm going to talk about it real fast. So the Packers defense can be beat by pretty much anybody at all points in time forever until proven otherwise. The Giants beat them with nobody.
That's
nobody.
Joe Barry for you right there.
Saquon. Next note that I had, the only person we're starting in the Packers offense right now is Aaron Jones. I understand you're most likely going to have to start A.J. Dillon because of how many carries he's getting, but I don't know what.
The only reason at this point in time you're starting Aaron Jones is because of where you drafted him and for the sheer fact of he's one of those players that can take a 65-yard touchdown to the house. Not because his utilization is great, because they don't have very good utilization on him, but it's just because he is actually getting, 6-7 yards per carry.
I just don't understand why to get away from the running game. Aaron Rodgers is pulling that team down right now.
Yep.
Pulling that team down. And I would think this last week would have been a great start for Romeo Doubs. I was wrong. It would have been a great start for Alan Lazard. I was wrong. So I until proven otherwise, I can't trust any weapons in that offense outside of Aaron Jones and maybe A.J. Dillon if they get back to running the ball.
I agree. I would agree. You can't, for a dude who last December put the team on his back and was rushing for 5-6 yards to carry and keeping us in games late December going into the playoffs, and them to give Aaron Jones 6 carries this game, 10 carries the last game. The dude needs both of our running backs, honestly, Ray, need 15 touches plus a game to get something established.
I could agree. But that's pretty much all I got for this game. This game is it was trash. So
Pittsburgh Buffalo.
Not a whole lot to talk about in this one either. So I wrote this down. I think I said it at the beginning of the season. I'll say it again. Khalil Shakir is going to take that job from McKenzie. Whether it's this week, whether it's at the end of the season, he's going to take that job from him. And I understand your hesitancy to believe these things, but you saw the talent. It's there. He's the real deal. He just needs to get on the field. That's it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, maybe, but I don't think he's going to take it from McKenzie this year. Next year, I could see your argument, but not through this year. I can see it, to your point, of being like the Jamison Crowder, Isaiah McKenzie when the season first started. I would say like a 35-65 share. Is that right? That's right.
Yeah.
Math? Yeah.
And then I think it probably ends up going to more of a 50-50 towards the end of the season.
Yeah, towards the end of the season, exactly. Especially pushing towards the playoffs, making sure everyone can stay healthy, rotating stuff in because they're looking like they're on fire. Gabe Davis, week 4, 96% of the route or 96% of the routes, only like 6 targets. As you can see, Josh Allen does have trust in him. This week is kind of that reaffirmation of he is still a dude too as well, especially with the 98-yard touchdown reception on the first drive. Get playmakers the ball, playmakers make plays.
I do like the fact that so many parts of that offense are involved right now. I like that so much. It's not just Diggs.
They are, out of the 5 games they've played this year, they've beat 3 of their opponents by 21 or more.
Yeah, you knew that this was going to be a tough game coming in for a rookie, and boy, did he ate a lot of shit. Let me tell you, he was punished this whole game. It was on a lot. I got to see a lot of that game.
I do like his grit and fight, where towards the end of the game, dude looked like it went for his knees, and he was like, "Hey, basically, F you." I feel like that was a cheap shot. He does have some fight in him, so I don't think Kenny Pickett's just going to roll over and show his belly. But as far at this point in time on the Pittsburgh side of the ball, get out of whatever offensive players you can get out of for now. If you're in a keeper league and you have some value in later rounds, keep them, and maybe next year it's a little bit better. But if you're in a straight redraft, get what you can get and try to keep moving because Deontay's struggling. Najee's struggling. Pickens is going to struggle. Pickett himself is going to struggle. Chase Claypool is needed to be cut 3 weeks ago.
He never needed to be rostered in the first place.
So
you're most likely not going to be able to get the value that you would need to get from a Deontay Johnson. You're not going to.
I agree.
Honestly, I've tried to trade him everywhere, and no one wants him. So,
Deontay plus a piece and go get something of equal or maybe a little lesser value.
So the one thing that I did pull away from this game was that Deontay's targets went up. They're even higher than they were with Mitch Trubisky. And they're at better, more, I guess, opportune positions of the field. More higher value targets. He had a lot more end zone shots.
Was he just drops again? Is he drops Johnson?
No, they were just bad balls. But I think that has a lot to do with Buffalo's defense. So I think
the pass rush in the face.
Yeah, I think going forward against a little weaker defenses, he's a definite start. So is George Pickens. I think George Pickens is a flex play going forward just because of how much volume he's getting. And I know that it's not good volume, but it's still volume. And if you're struggling at receiver, I think those two can be started because most likely you're not going to get any value from them trading them away.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's move on to the Chargers and the Browns.
This was a good game. I enjoyed watching this game.
Yeah. So
from what I saw, it was awesome.
Nick Chubb is on pace to be the RB1 in the season. The Browns' offense looks a lot better than I thought it did, and the usage in the red zone is so weird. I just hand the ball off at the end of the game. Why are you putting the ball on Brissett's shoulders? Hand the ball off.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they pay him to be that. As a backup quarterback, still you're expected. And I know it sucks because you run scout team all week, but you're expected to step up and make plays. That's why you still get paid quite a bit of money, even to be a backup quarterback. Nick Chubb is a animal and might finish RB1 this season. Kareem Hunt is going to still be good. I don't know if he's going to be quite the expectation that we needed.
I think he's still a flex start.
I would agree. I would agree because one of those things, again, it could be a Chubb game, which it's been so far throughout the season. Hunt week 1 had a great week 1. It could flip-flop at any point in time. Mm-hmm. They have 2 not very many teams are blessed to have 2 starting running backs in the NFL, and the Cleveland Browns are one of them.
Yeah. So outside of that, Amari Cooper, you don't take him out of your roster. You don't do it. He stays in your roster.
Up down weeks. You have to just ride the wave.
Yep, it sucks, but look, that's what you drafted him knowing that going into it. There's no way you thought that he was going to be anything different. He's been the same thing all of his whole career. He's like a less volatile Mike Williams. So
I would agree. Yeah, right? That is actually a really good comparison.
Yeah, less volatile. So on the Chargers side of the ball,
can I say something?
Go ahead.
Drop the Chargers defense and do not start them again the rest of the year.
Nope. Their defense is god awful. God awful.
I think you're playing every running back that starts against the Chargers defense going forward until otherwise. You are starting every running back that plays against them.
Oh, Travis Kelce's a full-grown man.
I just saw that too.
If Ruben wins this game, I swear to God.
I lost to Josh like about 5 minutes ago.
That's tough. So for Eckler fans, sigh of relief. He's back. You're fine. Everything's okay.
Course is corrected.
Course is corrected. Yeah, good for you, I guess. Other than that, this is a down week for Justin Herbert. Down week. Nothing to worry about.
Mike Williams had a big game, though. Gerald Everett disappeared. Austin Eckler was great. That's about it, though.
The running game was really a lot better than anything that Justin Herbert was doing.
Yep.
Wild, right?
That's pretty much it for that game, right? Houston versus Jackson. I think at this point in time, Dameon Pierce is a solid start every week. He's gotten now that they've gotten rid of Rex Burkhead, he's the surefire starter, gotten basically every carry. He's good for at least 1 touchdown, it seems like, every week as well. That's pretty much it on that side of the offense. Brandon Cooks isn't looking good because Davis Mills isn't looking good. Maybe that course gets corrected, but I don't see it happening. Somehow Houston won. No more winless teams in the NFL, which brings me to Jacksonville side of the ball. I did watch this game. Like I said, the wife is a fan of the Jaguars.
This was an off week for Jacksonville.
They couldn't get anything going. They played down to the level of their opponents. They haven't beat Houston in like 4 years or something like that. I'm
starting to think that Houston's defense isn't that bad.
No, it's really not.
That's what I'm thinking. How many times have we said smash start and it's not?
Houston's defense took Christian Kirk out of the mix. They took all their wide receivers out of the mix. ETN had a pretty big game for what he was doing in comparison to the past production. Up till now, the production looked good. He looked explosive. He looked fast. He hit the holes. He had some burst speed. And James Robinson looked like he was taking the back seat, like the roles had reversed. I don't know if that's due to game script or what, but I'm going to say this, and then next week James Robinson's going to come out and have 25 carries for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So
maybe what it is really for Jacksonville, for Travis Etienne, for all pieces involved is if they're getting boat raced like they were by the Houston Texans, because they were getting boat raced.
They weren't getting boat raced. It was 6-6 going into the fourth quarter, and then Houston finally scored a touchdown. The only touchdown of the game.
That's when you saw Etienne a lot more involved. It was when they're down. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, they were tied, but you could tell that they were down. In their minds, yes, they were down. Yes. They were in a hurry up. They were like, we have to score. We have to score. We have to score. We need to score. We need to score. We can't let this be this close. We can't let this be this close. Like, I agree with that.
So that I maybe I'm just like miswording the way that I'm trying to frame this, but in games where it just didn't feel like
they were in dire straits, essentially.
Yes, Jacksonville was just not the same offense we've seen, and I think in those instances where they are going to be down, Travis Etienne is going to be okay. Outside of that, if they're up, you know it's going to be James Robinson's job, and he ain't losing it.
I would agree.
He's an Iron Man. That's what he is.
I would agree. Anyways, next up we have Chicago at Minnesota.
Not a whole lot here.
Kirk Cousins went 18 for 18. Justin Jefferson had another massive game after 2 weeks of 2 weeks in a row now after 2 weeks of not. Thielen was viable. Cook was great. What's the deal with Madison though? Like, if Cook's doing that, why are you bringing Madison in for?
I don't understand
a change of pace. their frame and their structure and their running styles are the exact same. I understand why having Madison as the backup, but they're the exact same. But Madison is the least less efficient Dalvin Cook.
He's like Wish Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
That's what he is. And I don't understand why they keep putting him in for full drives. It doesn't make sense. Just stop doing it. So outside of that, nothing much else to write home about.
Montgomery had a decent game. Not a great game, but a decent game on his game back.
Justin Fields looked a lot better than I think he's looked all season.
Still,
that's not great, but he looked better. He was, I guess, moving around the pocket a little better. He hit a couple more throws that I thought he wouldn't have hit. Mooney is starting to seem like maybe he might be on the horizon of being on somebody's roster. But still,
if you have Mooney in Dynasty, you're happy. If you have Mooney in any other format, you're upset.
Yeah, not pumped.
Easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet finally got a couple of receptions. Don't roster him, though. I wouldn't do that at all. So anyways, next up we have the Detroit-New England game. Detroit's offense completely pooped the bed. They sucked. I think that is a one-off as well for Detroit. I don't think that's going to be the sticky stat. They might come back down to reality just a little bit, but it's not going to be that bad.
No.
They have a bye week this upcoming week. Everyone's going to be healthy. Amon-Ra is for sure going to be back. DeAndre is for sure going to be back. I think that offense kind of gets back on pace. New England side of the ball, their defense looks really good. Their defense is probably going to be pretty decent. Top half of the league for sure. They're always going to be in streaming consideration at this point in time. I was in a conundrum for DFS this week. I put Ramondre Stevenson in for Damian Harris because they were only $100 off. So even the bookies in Vegas see this as a quote 50-50 split.
I don't know what to do with this backfield.
As long as Bailey Zappi's in, you play both of them.
Why wouldn't it be the same with Mac Jones? What is Bailey Zappi bringing that Mac Jones can't do?
No, I'm talking about as long as Bailey Zappi's in because they're going to have to run the ball. That's why you start them.
Why isn't... Do you see why I'm saying why
don't they run the same offense with Mac Jones
I don't get
to
that.
get everything moving? I have no idea either. Maybe because they think Mac Jones is just going to torch the earth and light everybody up. I don't know.
But he hasn't ever done that. So why?
He didn't do it in Alabama. They ran, opened up play action. Ran, opened up play action.
No.
I don't understand why offensive, both college and in NFL, don't understand that lining up under center, get out of shotgun, forget shotgun, lining up under center and running the ball and making it to, even if you're only getting two. Josh Jacobs is on fire right now, dude. Yes, my God. Sorry. As I'm speaking about running the football, he just busts off a 40-yard run.
Yes.
Why don't these offenses line up under center, literally, i.e. Las Vegas right now, run the ball, even if you're getting 2-3 yards to carry, it's still showing that you want to run the football to open up your passing game. You're asking these young quarterbacks who aren't necessarily great right now or have a lot of arm talent to do stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But anyways, start them both going forward. I am too. Let's get through this show. Seattle, New Orleans. Go ahead.
Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is the better play, though. I think he is.
I would agree. He's got more pass catching option. I would agree with you completely.
For Seattle, New Orleans, one of the big notes that I had, Chris Olave had a pretty nasty concussion.
He still caught that touchdown, though. Dog.
He did catch that. That's kind of crazy, but he definitely had. There was a moment where he was actually unconscious, falling down.
Yeah, he hit his head, and then it was like.
I'm saying that because there's no way that he plays next week. There's no way.
That's probably true, especially because the league's on super high ups about the whole Tua situation. And now if you show any form of wobbliness or lack of motor skills, even 7 plays later, they're going to pull you out of the game.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that they needed a correction, but the NFL kind of overcorrected in this sense.
Maybe.
So I don't know. I mean,
maybe this is where it should have been.
Really though, you think even if, you're taking hits everywhere on your body, are you sure that it's necessarily always going to be a head? What if it's just like a dead leg and you go to step and your foot's numb?
I mean, you could pretty like say for Olave's
It does
example.
no. That's the point, though. It doesn't matter. Even if you have a dead leg in this point in time, if you show any lack of motor skills, you are out for the game and in concussion protocol. Even if you pass it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and I think we're just going to see it more and more until it becomes the norm in our brains. But that being said, like I say that Chris Olave doesn't play next week. Watch him go off for 170,000 yards. But the way that the rule is right now and the way that they're trying to like hyper correct, I can't imagine him playing. So, man, Michael Thomas, I need you, dog.
Yeah, Michael Thomas needs to come back. We talked about him earlier. Taysom Hill needs to be rostered. Alvin Kamara, if he got the Taysom Hill, even half of the Taysom Hill workload for 1 or 2 touchdowns in that game, instead of letting Taysom Hill get 3 rushing, 1 passing. Alvin Kamara, he's back on track, 184 yards of total offense, even though he didn't score, still put up, 20 points.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of like Andy Dalton in there.
It wasn't bad.
I kind of liked it. I would like that going forward for a little longer so I can get some Michael Thomas slant routes, please.
Seattle side of the ball, both wide receivers are viable. Kenneth Walker now needs to be rostered because the run game still works in Seattle. And as long as Geno is hot and Geno is cooking, Geno is the streaming candidate.
So. Yes, and I think everybody needs to recorrect how they thought New Orleans defense was going to be. I think that's what needs to be drawn from this game.
I would agree. New Orleans defense isn't top tier defense anymore, but they are definitely top half. It's more of a matchup play for me.
Yeah, they're middle of the pack is what I'm saying. You shouldn't be afraid of starting anybody against them.
Yep. And then speaking of the new concussion protocol, we'll go into Miami versus the New York Jets. Teddy Bridgewater is kind of what I was talking about in this situation. It doesn't necessarily happen. It doesn't help that it was on the same team as Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
But he passed all the concussion checks just like Tua did the past whatever, how many weeks ago it was. Turns out that doctor was fired because even though he passed them, it wasn't necessarily correct. But brand new doctor, Teddy passes them, but because as I was saying, he lost that form of motor function and looked a little wobbly to a spotter upstairs. Miami's now on their 3rd team quarterback. You know what I mean? After the first series of the game.
I know that they got blown out, but
it was close for a long time.
It was close for a while, and I don't think he looked god awful.
I do think that Teddy gives them a even playing field.
I think Teddy gives them
outside of Tua. I agree, and that's why I think the overcorrection, especially with it being the Dolphins, hurts them. But I do think that the NFL will eventually, hopefully, mend the rules of, hey, I got a dead leg, or because you know how it is. You get punched in the leg or the shoulder with a fist not coming near as fast and hard as helmets are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but anyways, on this game.
For the Jets side of the ball, I really like Breece Hall going forward. I think that, oh my goodness. Did he come down with that?
No, Mac Hollins almost came down with that, though.
Man, what a smash start that would have been. No, I think that Breece Hall, he's safe going forward. I think he's taking that job one game at a time. He's literally taking it away. So, and it's crazy because it's not like it's not like he's that much better. I don't know.
Sorry, I needed Carlson to miss, and he almost did, and I was mad that he didn't. But yes, I would agree. Breece Hall is going to be the starter going forward, and Michael Carter will be the backup.
But Michael Carter, good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
they're in a situation where they have 2 really good running backs, just like what we were talking about with the Patriots, just like what we were talking about with the Browns, just like what we can talk about with the Packers. Like, there's a few teams in the NFL that have them, and I think it's time we start in our brains working to revert that running backs are super, super important. Two to 5 of them are every year, yes. But outside of those top 2 to 5 who are bell cows, you're going to be playing committee backs. It's what the NFL is transitioning to.
Yeah, it makes more sense because running backs get hurt all the time. But Breece Hall is a great start going forward. Yep. I can't say that I'm going to sit him in very many situations.
I agree.
Outside of that, the pass catchers.
Corey Davis would be the one that I want with Zach Wilson, and I don't really want him, but if I had to pick one, that would be the one that I pick.
It's so unfortunate. So
It is. It's so bad. I don't like
stupid.
that.
Garrett Wilson is so clearly the best receiver they've got.
Yeah, Miami side of the ball, I do think it's once again kind of a one-off with the whole concussion thing happening. You're still probably going to start Jalen. You're still going to start Tyreek. Raheem Mostert looked pretty good. So
yeah,
he might be a flex-worthy option or bye-week candidate to get you
until he gets hurt.
That's fair. So then next up, we have Atlanta at Tampa Bay. This game was BS at the end of it with a roughing the passer call. Atlanta should have been on the drive there.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had to punt to Atlanta. They probably could have made that a little close, but of course, Tom Brady gets one call. The ref said, I saw that he unnecessarily threw Tom Brady to the ground. No, he grabbed him and immediately grabbed him, set on his butt, and Tom Brady happened to go around. His neck didn't hit the ground. His shoulder hit the ground first. He literally went down like this. This part of his body hit first before anything else. So I never, ever, ever want to hear anybody say, well, oh, but Aaron Rodgers gets that call too. Or, oh, Peyton Manning got that call too. No, this is a Tom Brady thing at this point in time.
Yeah.
Atlanta should have been in that game. But on a bright note, on Atlanta, I think this was a one-off game for Atlanta. They played them really good. I don't know why. They had no names that were scoring touchdowns, 2-point conversions. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying this
No. So, excuse me. On the Tampa Bay side of the ball, Mike Evans, you're always starting. Leonard Fournette had a great game. Chris Godwin, first game back fully healthy. You can tell that he's going to be involved. If you don't have Chris Godwin, sorry about you, but go get Chris Godwin if you can.
I think Julio's a cut candidate at this point.
Yep.
Hold on.
I would agree.
Too long. Drop him.
I would agree. It's gone now.
Yeah.
Then
Tampa
we have
defense, also just to point out, Tampa Bay's defense really, really difficult to run against. That's why I was definitely not willing to start Tyler Algier. Next week, also not willing to start Tyler Algier. They're playing San Francisco. After that,
yep, I would agree.
We'll be good to go. It'll be okay.
Cordell will be back like a week after that, though, won't he?
2 weeks. 2 weeks after that. It has to be 4 weeks.
All right. So Tennessee versus Washington was the next game. Robert Woods looked good. Derrick Henry obviously looked good. Pretty much it from that side of the ball.
Yeah, that's really it. I don't have any other notes from that.
Nope. And then, as you've already pointed out at the beginning of the show, Carson Wentz is a fine streaming candidate against weak pass rushers. Brian Robinson will have that whole backfield. He just got back this week and already was looking better than Antonio Gibson and probably out-touched him.
They were saying that I think I saw something that said Rivera was going to try and get Gibson involved in like all these other different plays. I'm like, no, you're not. Shut up.
Nope. Antonio Gibson will end up going back to special teams and doing kick returns.
And then, even then, it's like probably not. Probably not.
He'll be like the Amari Rodgers version of the Packers.
Tough.
It's super tough. So, anyways, next up we have San Francisco versus Carolina. Matt Rule got fired today. By the way, That is big news. Matt Rule got fired today. I'm willing to bet Carolina is going to fire sell that team. They're going to start trading pieces for picks.
I don't think they're going to trade DJ Moore. They just paid him. They're not going to trade him.
They probably won't be able to trade him at this point in time. Or if they do trade him, it will be that team Carolina has to take some of that roster and still pay it. But I honestly think that they do fire sell and try to completely restart.
Well, they should have done that in the beginning. I know they were trying to shop Christian McCaffrey. They were trying to do it.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. So anyways, San Francisco. Who's starting? Jeff Wilson looked good.
Yeah, Jeff Wilson's still going to be in there until Elijah Mitchell gets back. Debo still looks solid. I thought Brandon Ayuk played fine, but probably not as good as I thought he was going to. And
Kittle didn't have the best game.
I even said I probably temper those expectations because they're probably going to be up by a lot, and they were. Kittle, he was involved, but again, not necessarily where you really wanted him yet. And that's it for that game. And the San Francisco defense is really, really good. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Baker is hurt too. Him and Sam Darnold basically traded places with high ankle sprains. It's weird how that works. Sam Darnold should be back to play. He was on IR. It is now past week 4. It's been week 5. He should be okay to play. If you have a high ankle sprain that takes you 6 weeks to heal up, you should probably look at not playing in the NFL.
Oh, so Michael Thomas should probably look at that.
Should probably look at just retiring, because Michael Thomas has not been what he has been for the last 3 years. So that is what it is. Philadelphia, Arizona. Philadelphia, you're starting basically every starting option in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert. Arizona, as of now, at this point in time, you're starting Kyler, you're starting Marquise Brown, and you're not watching the first half of football.
Yeah, they still looked rough. But that game was a lot closer than I thought it would be anyway. I thought that Philadelphia's defense would have been smothering. But I guess, Arizona does have their number in certain aspects of play. But I don't know. I think you're still fine starting Marquise for the rest of the season. He looked fine. He's getting hyper-targeted until D-Hop comes back. And it's not to say the rest of the season. I'm sorry I said that. Until D-Hop. Yes. So outside of that, you got anything else for this game?
Nope. Dallas at LA. Dallas's defense is real. CeeDee Lamb will be great when Dak gets back, but not until then. He'll be okay until then. Dallas defense is real. Arizona, Matt Stafford is a cut candidate at this point in time. You're obviously starting Cooper Kupp, starting Tyler Higbee. Allen Robinson is a cut candidate. They need a number 2 in that offense. They need technically a number 3, because it goes Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, nothing else. They need a number 3 option in that offense.
I mean, Odell's sitting out there. I don't know.
If the Rams aren't doing well, though, and not poised to make the playoffs, Odell's not going to go to a team that's not going to make the playoffs.
Well, I kind of rules out a couple teams, honestly.
It does.
Yeah,
Bye-bye, Packers.
I think Stafford might honestly be on the bench for a while now.
I started Geno Smith over Stafford, right? He's a cut candidate at this point in time.
Oh, yeah. That offense has got to get figured out. There's no way. It has to get figured out. It's too talented. But I guess
offensive
it's not.
Line, I mean, and granted, Dallas does have a premier pass rush, but their offensive line, man, is bad. Anything else on that one?
On the Dallas side of the ball, I think at this point, both Zeke and Pollard are flex consideration. They're fine. It's gross. You're not going to like what you're seeing, but I mean, Pollard ripped off a big one. He's good for, it seems like, one a game.
Yeah.
And Zeke is still getting the rock, 15 to 20 times a game. So
yeah. Even though he looks old and busted, and Pollard looks better. But anyways, Cincinnati, Baltimore, both of these defenses kind of stepped up in this one and kept it kind of low scoring. Joe Burrow's still a guy. Jamar Chase is still a guy. Joe Mixon's still a guy. T. Higgins.
The T. Higgins one sucks because you didn't find that out until literally.
Higgins. Yep, he was literally listed as active.
He was
no
dressed.
Updates. It was T. Higgins is going to play. T. Higgins didn't play.
He was dressed into the third quarter.
T. Higgins didn't play. Then it comes out after the game today. Oh, T. Higgins could have played situationally if he needed to. I mean, were you not in a close game? Were there not situations where when he's on the field, it would help you out?
I don't know. That was so weird.
It's just another reason why Zach Taylor is just a see you next Tuesday.
On the Baltimore side of the ball, you're not worried about J.K. Dobbins. It just wasn't his game. It's going to happen in that offense. It's Lamar, then Mark Andrews, then anything else.
Yep, and that's correct. And I think since it was such a low scoring game and Lamar couldn't get out and do what Lamar needed to do with his legs, it kind of kept every other offensive piece it held them down a little bit too.
Yeah. Devin Duvernay, he was fine.
Yeah.
He was all right.
Yep.
Probably didn't win you a week, but he was all right. That's pretty much it for this game.
I would agree. And then Las Vegas, Kansas City, as we've said before, is on right now. MVS just dropped another pass. I don't think Patty Mahomes has a lot of faith in him. Juju's looking good. CEH looking good. Travis Kelce, obviously, always good. Patrick Mahomes, obviously, always good. McKinnon, we thought last week he's every time I've looked at the game, McKinnon has been on the field. CH had the one touchdown, but since then it's been McKinnon majority of the time. I don't know what's happening. It is what it is, I guess. I don't know what to do at that point in time.
And
You
it's
play
weird.
CEH and you don't play anybody else.
But CH has been fine this game. It's crazy.
That's what
right?
I'm saying. So you play CEH and you don't play anybody else because last week it was a Pacheco. This week it's a McKinnon.
It's tough. You hate to say it, but you need an injury to happen because that backfield is so. Other than CH,
It seems like CEH is solid for a touchdown every week. Dude literally might have 22 touchdowns this year.
I mean, he's the red zone guy. That's the most valuable side of the ball.
He might break 1,200 yards rushing, receiving combined, but he literally might have 22 total touchdowns this year. But anyways, Vegas side of the ball, Darren Waller's out. That sucks too. Kind of like the T. Higgins thing. Suited up and then didn't even play. Mac Hollins, as you said, is involved. He should be rostered just in case it is that breakout. Hunter Renfrow was a little involved, but Mac Hollins is taking over that role. Devontae, obviously.
Especially with Waller out.
Yep, I agree. And Devontae is Devontae. Josh Jacobs should be rostered. Should be looked at.
Should be started every week.
Should be looked at as a trade target. Go get him.
You're buying high as hell.
Someone
or not.
Someone in our league just sold. I can actually pull it up right now. Let's look. Commissioner powers, bro. This is great. Let's look at the trades that are going on.
Hey,
Review one trade.
That pick, by the way.
Yeah, Carlson didn't. It was Kansas City. I need Kansas. What are we at? 20, 40, 47. Oh, I would lose even if the Raiders won. I picked 45. I think you're closest if the Raiders win.
I just need the Raiders to win, baby. That's all I need.
You need a field goal for them to win. So anyways, someone just traded away Josh Jacobs and Keenan Allen for Tyler Lockett and Najee Harris. I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know who actually won that one.
Bad. Hey, by the way, in the 6-team league we play in, I picked up Josh Jacobs off a waiver. He's sitting on my bench. What's up? Good play. Good call, guys.
Well, Aaron, anything else you got?
As always, guys, please be sure to use code franchise tag for 10% off of your order at drifflesjerky.com. Please be sure to go follow us on Discord. That's where you can ask any sit questions or AMAs about anything, and we will answer. Ray does not have a job, apparently, and all he does is answer within 5 seconds. So you will know as soon as you post it that within probably 32 seconds, you will have a response. Please follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's easier to use in the car when you're driving. That's where I listen to all my podcasts. And as always, please hit the like button on the videos. It helps us in the algorithm and moves us to the top. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, and subscribe to us on YouTube. That would be just peachy if we could. We are so close to 500. We are almost there, Ray.
I know.
Almost there. So, guys, until next time, we will see you later.